Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. We're back at our Monday live show, and I'm so excited that you're here watching. If you're watching live, say hello in the chat. It's always fun to see where people are tuning in from and what neck of the woods you are in. I just wanted to say hello to a few people who were here bright and early. Kathy in Central New York. Hey, Kathy. And hey, Mary in Canada, always supporting the channel. By the way, the best way you can support the live is to hit the like button. It helps the video get pushed out a little bit more. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. You'll get notifications when I go live and when I create new videos. So thanks for doing that. And Paula's Place in London. Hey, Katie's tuning in Japan. Hey, Katie. And Bohemian Sun is tuning in as well. Lao Shi. Jen from, I don't know where that is, Jen. Agawam, MA. Is that Massachusetts? MA. I can't think where that is. Hey, Kinga. Good to see you. Hey, the Forever Expat in Italy. Cool. Hey, Reno De Beer. Good day, good day. Hello, Sleep Chap. We've got Daniel. Greetings from an American EFL and Spanish teacher in Taipei, Taiwan. Cool. Awesome. And Ingrid is here in Cape Town. And Sarah is tuning in from Guanajuato, Mexico. I think I've said that right. And okay, Reno's in, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right, Cape Town, South Africa. So if you are tuning in, thanks for saying hi. We're going to get started with our interview with Todd. And I often will say on these lives that if you've got a story to tell, if you're an independent teacher or a teacher working for a company and you want to share your story on my channel, I'm always more than welcome to hear a variety of experiences. And I think it's really helpful for those that are listening to get to know other teachers and to hear stories of what other teachers are doing, how teachers are transitioning from platforms or getting into the industry or working privately and teaching independently. All those good things are really great. And I run a Facebook group called Going Solo Independent Teaching. So if you are looking for support in that, or you have questions and you want to, learn about how people are collecting payments or how people are targeting a particular group of students or how people are creating content or, what curriculum people are using, go ahead and join the group that I'm putting a link to in the chat and make sure to answer the questions so that I can let you in as well. All right. So with that, let me introduce Daniel. Sorry, not Daniel, Todd. Sorry, Todd. Here you are. Welcome to the show. Can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Oh, hello, Tim. Thanks for letting me be on the show today. My name is Todd. I'm a teacher in Nantou City, Taiwan. That's central Taiwan. And I'm also an independent online English teacher as of since the end of February. So about 3 weeks
Cool.
now. Am I on the third week now? Something like that.
So you're in central Taiwan, and we've got Daniel. He's in Taiwan too. I think he's in Taipei. How far are
Yeah,
you
he's
from
in
Taipei?
Taipei. hmm
How far are you from Taipei?
Probably about a 2.5 hour drive.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Can you tell us a little bit about your teaching experiences, kind of what brought you into the online teaching world to begin with?
Yeah, so for most of my adult life, I've been in Taiwan. I moved here in 2006, and I was mostly working in cram schools and bilingual kindergartens. And then I started a family here, so I have two kids. They're 12 and 10
Mm.
years old now. Um, in summer 2019, I thought we would like pivot the family to the U.S. So I moved back first with our daughter because had some hiccups with my wife's green card, and then I got a job teaching high school at a public school in the U.S. For the fall 2019 to 2020 school year. We all know how that went. We went virtual in March, and at that time I didn't have my commute anymore, so I was teaching those kids, and then I picked up hours on VIP Kid, much like half of the US did.
Right.
And then I continued doing that. Um, and then we had a few more issues with my wife's visa, so I kind of started the next school year, and we were still all virtual, and it looked pretty grim from the U.S. Like at that time, Taiwan was still doing like in-person learning, so I moved back to Taiwan with our daughter, got everyone back together, and then that was in October of 2020. So I was still teaching VIP Kid, but now I'm in the same time zone. So like 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. I was teaching VIP Kid, and then from 8 p.m. to like 3:30 in the morning, I was teaching my US kids online for the public school job.
Whoa.
That's yeah. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
It's kind of a
Wait a
blur.
sec. You were teaching VIP Kid, and then you were, because there was some overlap there. You were teaching VIP Kid,
Yeah, I
and
was
then you
teaching
were
VIP
teaching.
Kid for just like an hour, and then I was
Okay,
clocking into my normal US
I
public school
gotcha.
job at 8 o'clock.
Okay,
But I was in on the opposite side of the world now, so I was doing 8 p.m. to about 3 or 4 a.m. depending on what was going on that day. So it
and
was kind
how
of
was
wild.
that?
It
How was
it
that?
was special. Okay. But yeah, so I did that, and then at the beginning of the let me see, I made some notes because I'm all mixed up on years. At the beginning of the fall 2021 school year, they kind of summoned everybody back to start teaching in the school, and I wasn't quite ready to move back yet.
Hmm. Okay,
So, and that was around the same time we all got those emails from VIP Kids saying like what we're doing is like not allowed anymore, but kids can
right.
still use up their lessons. So I kind of dropped all that and I signed up with Amazing Talker because most of the kids were from Taiwan, Hong Kong, and China, and I've been teaching kids whose first language is Chinese for most of my life, most of my adult life, most of my professional life. So it seemed like a good fit, and I continued that all the way up to the end of February. But in September of last year, I got a job at a public high school here in Nantou City, Taiwan, and so I cut back my hours a lot on Amazing Talker.
Okay. So tell us about. Gosh, you've got a lot of experiences in there. I wanted to ask you about. Well, tell us about what you're doing right now. So you talked about the independent teaching. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But what are you actually teaching in Taiwan? So
So
what's
I'm
the
teaching basically, English language development, course, ESL. Um,
okay?
and the way it's set up is I'm basically there all day, 8 to 5, but I only really have classes half the time.
Okay.
So it's there's a lot of like downtime at work. There's plenty of time to plan classes and just kind of catch up on my favorite books and
Yeah.
comic book series and all that stuff. And then that's where the bulk of my time is at the high school. And when I made the move from teaching, now having most of my time devoted at the high school, I couldn't devote as much time to Amazing Talker and had to cut back my hours drastically on there.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about Amazing Talker for those that don't know what that's all about.
Oh yeah, so it's an online teaching platform where you set your rates. You used to be able to kind of like set your rates at whatever you want, but now they do this with newer teachers where they kind of have a suggested rate for you, and you have to kind of stay within that, and you have to complete a certain number of classes before you can raise beyond a certain level.
Hmm.
So when I joined, you were able to kind of just set your rate at whatever you wanted and raise it however you like. But now they kind of limit how fast you can raise your rates, as you start, gaining traction on the platform.
What can you teach on Amazing Talker?
You can teach any language as well as any school subject. Um, for a while, my daughter was taking violin lessons on the platform,
Okay.
so it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, because the little knowledge I have about it was that it was a marketplace where you could, list classes and maybe make that bridge from like fully working with a company where they kind of give you everything to maybe testing the waters like with your niche and figuring out what you're best at and
Hmm.
maybe learning some of the marketing or just at least some of the um, aspects of doing it on your own with a little bit of help from them because they've got obviously the student base.
Yeah.
But what was the sort of, I guess, breaking point for you that you just felt like you needed to move away from working for them? And maybe we should
Yes.
pull up should we pull up the meme to
Oh yeah,
sort of,
I guess we should pull up the meme first, and then
okay.
I can kind of describe it. Okay, so it's kind of in between us. So all right, this finger, wait, this finger.
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, with this, it was just like a little joke about the platform fees on Amazing Talker that the company is notorious for. Um, so how it works is that there's like a 10% invisible fee that you don't see, where like let's say you set your rates at $20, a student would see $22. So if you have
Okay.
students paying $22, they think you're worth $22,
Okay.
just because of that.
Right.
And then in addition, there's an 8% flat fee that everybody pays. It's kind of it's a I think it's called like a regional transaction tax, and it's the fee
Okay.
you get for getting the money in your bank account when you finish that month.
8%.
8% flat rate
Okay.
so far. And then you have the platform fee, and this one starts at 30% and goes down 1% every $100 you make.
Okay. What did you get it down to?
I got it down to zero, 6
Okay.
months in a row.
Okay. So it starts
For
at
6
minus
months, yeah, but yeah, so every month it starts over. So, every month you're starting again at 38% if you include the 8% flat rate, and then working it down to 8%, which is just the flat rate, once you've made $3,000.
but you only get, okay,
If
wait a
that
sec.
makes sense.
You still, but you, when you work it down to 0%, you've still gotten, will 0% come out for the month, or will 30%, 29%, 28% for
Wait.
those?
So let's say I teach and I've sold 3,000. I've taught $3,000 worth of classes. I
Okay.
would be paying an 8% fee for the flat rate
Yeah.
because I'm no longer paying that platform fee. It's gone all the way down
Gotcha.
to 0%.
Okay. I see. I
Okay, I
see.
have a mini whiteboard if I need to use it later.
It's okay. Well, let's just say they take out a lot, right? But
They do, but
you can
so
decrease it.
if you can, um, if you market yourself and you've managed to get students who are willing to pay higher rates for you, and you have enough hours available to bring that rate down, yeah, it can be worth it. But I had now a full-time job, so I had much fewer hours available for Amazing Talker, and I had kind of made some extra hours available for kids that I was teaching
Uh-huh.
in the afternoon. I was now teaching them in the evening at a time I didn't really want to teach online.
Uh-huh.
So I
Okay.
wanted to like drop those kids, but then I just kind of did the math, and it was really not worth it, for me, because now I was getting into the kind of the 20% and up territory for how much I
Which is
wanted
a
to work.
lot still.
Yeah,
I,
it is a lot. So I that's when
the
I
thing
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, the thing with all these, marketplaces and things is they really want you to sell your soul to them to be able to get that better rate, right? So it means really hustling, working a ton of hours
Yeah.
to maybe make something that's like halfway decent, but then
hmm
at the same time, you're burning yourself out pretty
Yeah,
quickly
and
by
I
just
was burning
having to,
myself out. I kind of talked
yeah.
with my wife. I was like, well, maybe I can keep this up, but to keep it up meant I was adding hours I didn't want to teach,
Yeah.
and so that was burning me out. And then like
Mm.
I had a lot of
Mm.
holidays in December, and I was sick with COVID. So like
Right.
my platform fee, with all that, just skyrocketed, and that was when
Yeah.
I seriously was just like, okay, this is enough. Let me find out how to do this without the middleman.
Gotcha. Okay, so that brings me to asking you about what steps you took. And I'll say that the reason why I got connected with you is that I think through you taking my launch course maybe in January or February.
Yeah,
So that was
right.
one thing you did. What else did you do to sort of put things into place? Because I just want to get into
hmm
your headspace for those that are probably sitting at a company or marketplace or platform like Amazing Talker, and they really want to make this move
hmm
because so many people do, but they're halted by fear, unknowns, lack of knowledge on how to do things, the tech. the pricing and all this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Like, what did you talk us through, like how you went, okay, I'm going to do this. I mean, you obviously bit the bullet and you did it. So
Yeah.
what did that look like? What did you do?
So yeah, the first thing for me was just to kind of figure out all the systems that I needed in place. Before I even joined Launch, I didn't have a WeChat account. I
Okay.
had a Line account because everyone in Taiwan uses Line, but I had zero students on it. Like I had
Oh, they do
zero
that in Thailand as
contacts.
well. I didn't realize that
Oh, Line's in
Taiwan was.
Thailand too?
Oh, it's huge here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
Yeah.
like their
Yeah. Yeah.
stickers.
Yeah. The stickers.
You can have a
They're
whole
great.
conversation in stickers. So anyways,
Yes.
even like when I had students on Amazing Talkers, some of them would say like, "What's your WeChat?" And I said, I don't use it. I just want all of my students on one messenger system. The platform
Yeah.
system, because I'd like flashbacks to high school when like one person would have AIM, the other would have like Yahoo Messenger, and then somebody would refuse to use anything but ICQ. So you had to like download all three and have them on all the time.
Oh my
I just revealed
ICQ.
I
That
just
is
revealed my
old.
age there, sorry. But anyways, that was the
I,
first step, was just getting these kind of like systems in place, and then figuring out, okay, that the Taiwan kids are easy to get payment from because I have, a bank account here. It's pretty simple,
mhm.
bank to bank transfer through the phone. And then for the Chinese ones, it was, working through getting Stripe set up and having that all in place. And then
Mhm.
the next thing I did was I set a firm date, because I
Okay.
didn't want to
Good. Set a
juggle
firm date.
like
Yeah.
having a couple students and then end up paying 25-30% every month for these platform fees for these few I'm holding on. So I went ahead and just blocked out my whole schedule after starting in March, and I started power canceling any classes that were booked.
Mm.
And I gave the story, which was 100% true. I'm busy with my primary job, and I want to focus more on my family.
Yeah.
And most of the messages coming to me were, we appreciate everything you've done for us, and good luck, in the future.
From the company?
No, from from students.
From students. Okay, great.
Yeah, I kind
So
of said like I won't be, teaching anymore starting in March. And
okay.
quite a few of them wished me well, and a few of them reached out to me about
Okay.
alternative ways to continue having classes.
Okay, cool. So that's I want to talk about that for a second because a lot of people are teaching lots of students and they're like, geez, if I could only have these students on my own, but my company doesn't allow me to, share certain information or talk
Hmm.
about, and that makes total sense from a company's point of view.
Yeah.
They of course are going to have those rules. And when things were crashing a couple years ago, or almost 2 years ago, I said to teachers, like if you really want to make this work, at the end of the day, we saw companies closing the door overnight. So you might have to just bite the bullet, take that risk in
Yeah.
order to in order to hold on to a couple of students. Will they fire you? Maybe, but I mean, at the same time, are you going to build a bigger business and make more money in the long run by starting with a couple of students? And I'm not advocating for going out there and poaching your students, but I think the way you did it was very organic and just really like just hey, I'm leaving. Here's my contact information. I'd love to stay in touch.
Yeah.
Is that
I
sort of
just told
how it
everyone
happened?
stay in touch, and that was that.
Yeah. And then what happened?
And then like I had a few eager students like already
Okay.
kind of like sign up for times. I gave everybody, instead of doing like I did with the platform, which was like, here's a schedule, book your classes. It was like, okay, what works best for you? All right, this is your time slot, for the foreseeable future. And then some parents requested, like, just out of the blue, they just requested like a 10 lesson packs. Other ones said, um, we can do this time. And then I just, if they were once a week, I kind of arranged a lesson pack where I'd be seeing them once a week until the end of the school year. And
Okay.
others, if they were twice a week, I did like, how many lessons they would have over 2 months. It just seemed kind of like
Okay.
very, very
Yeah.
manageable in case, something comes up and things need to change. Cause I'm sure they'll change, for summer.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And what's your so tell us about what your independent teaching student load looks like right now. What are you teaching?
Yeah. So I have 14 kids.
14. I
Yeah,
didn't realize you had that many.
14, yeah, 14 students. I shouldn't say 14 kids. I have one adult who
Okay,
found me via a family friend here in Taiwan.
great.
The rest
Are they
mostly
Chinese?
it's kind of a mix. I got four Chinese students, and the rest are Taiwanese.
Okay,
And
all right.
I'm sorry, I'm reading that. It should be this way.
Yeah, just
Okay.
saying hi to people. There's a few people
Okay.
coming in that I
So
haven't seen in
so
ages.
yeah, so for the Taiwanese students, all their payments are through the bank transfer, the Chinese ones all through Stripe. And most of them are elementary age, so I'm using portions of the Oxford Discover series.
Okay.
And I also have a subscription to the
Mm.
Epic Digital Library. So anytime we like finish a lesson early, I find something that kind of the kid will be interested in, as kind of like reading on the side.
Okay. I've got a question for you. How did you handle? Because are all those students from the platform, or some referrals, or what? What is that?
Most are
A mix?
from the platform, and then two I have are from just friends of family, in
Okay.
Taiwan.
Because with that many students, I mean, you could really, like with referrals, you could really, you could really grow.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
you
that was like my thinking was like this would be kind of like the trial month for me, making sure I have everything, locked
yeah,
in place, and then starting to introduce probably a referral system
just to get some
for
leads
addition
coming
for a
in.
few.
Yeah.
I don't want too many more time slots. I'm basically 2/3 of the way full for what I want to teach. But at the same time, I do want to fill those spaces. So I'll
Yeah.
probably
Well,
start
this
next
is
month trying to fill in those little holes in my schedule.
Yeah. No, I had some holes too last month, and in trying to fill them, I overwhelmed myself, and I had too many interested students come through, which is a good problem.
Hmm.
But I felt really bad. I've had to turn away, you know, 4 or 5 because I really only just had a few spots. But how
Yeah.
great is that? Because then you've got those contacts, and I've told them if anyone doesn't renew their package in the coming months, you'll be the first to know. So it's
Yeah.
very secure knowing that I really don't have to worry probably for the next little while, because I had such a big a large amount of interest when I put out the call for some new students. So
Hmm.
this is just great. This is great info. So okay, what have your obviously you've had huge success just getting things going, but like what's been some of the just other successes that you've had, I guess, in getting this started? You've got the amount of students you want. You've got a payment. Like, tell
Hmm.
me, what other things have you worked on? Because you took my course. Did you implement anything from there, or how did that um,
Yeah.
work
So from the
into
course,
things?
like I followed like all the tutorials for getting Stripe set up. Like I had like the website open, and your video going like on the side,
Okay.
making sure I'm doing everything right. And a lot of people, they say like all this stuff is time consuming, but like yeah, the first time I sent out an invoice, it was time consuming, but guess what, every time after that, it's like just seconds to put
Yeah,
in the info and send it out to somebody.
I know.
That was a big help. And then there was a lesson, and you had a guest speaker. Her name is I'm blanking on her name, but she kind of did the walkthrough for using Notion.
Oh yes.
The
Okay.
Notion,
Yes.
yes.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So because I came from a platform, and the platform had like the calendar, and how many lessons they had left and all that there. Without the platform, I didn't have that. But with the template that was downloadable for
Yeah.
Notion, and like how to like fill it out and all that, now I have all that there, which was a lifesaver for me.
Do you like it? A lot of teachers were kind of mixed with it, but I use it every day.
I
I
love
couldn't.
it. Well, I haven't tried alternatives. I mean,
Okay.
my previous organization method is like
Well, this is an
a
alternative.
sticky, the on-screen sticky notes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so that was like a big step up for me, was doing
Yeah.
that.
Cool. Mary's a Notion fan. I just wanted to say hi to Brooke. I haven't seen you in ages, and that's awesome that you're popping in. Thanks, Brooke. Curious how helpful the YouTube videos are with gaining students, or is that done just as a bonus? Are you
Oh,
talking about maybe Todd's
Talking
YouTube
about my
channel,
YouTube
maybe,
videos.
possibly. How
I
is it?
haven't really used them to reach out to students, mainly because I was like completely booked um,
Hmm.
with the platform. I didn't really feel the need to like use YouTube to reach out for students. I'm primarily just kind of growing that because I'm want to get to the point where I can kind of comfortably um, add kind of asynchronous courses that students can sign up for.
Have you
Um,
had interest through the YouTube channel though?
I have had a few people message me. Actually, I had more interest through TikTok. Um, I don't take
Ah,
TikTok seriously. I just basically repurposed my YouTube shorts and put them on TikTok, and well, that
yeah.
grew a lot faster than YouTube. But I don't know how
Hmm, cool.
how worth it is to have that many followers
Hmm.
on TikTok versus on YouTube in terms of um, getting money from
Well,
anything.
yeah. Well, I think just the way that short form content is being pushed these days, like
Hmm.
TikTok, Insta Stories, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, that's really where they're pushing content. So
Yeah.
you're bound to grow faster now, I think, with creating any kind of short form content.
Hmm.
My personal opinion is I think it's making us all very what's the word? I don't know, easily distracted, or just we can't have long conversations anymore. So I still love long form content like YouTube videos, but
Hmm.
I've just never really gotten into the short form stuff. It is so addictive. I mean, I don't know. It's so addictive to just watch all these
Yeah,
15-second videos.
most of
But
my growth in subscribers was when I went through like binges where I was creating like 20 shorts in a row for like
wow,
a couple weeks, and then I saw like a huge spike in growth. I don't know how many of those people are turning around and watching my longer videos all the way through, but
yeah,
in terms of subscriber numbers, if you're looking at that metric, I would say it's could be a good thing to kind of introduce to your kind of your upload
yeah.
repertoire.
Well, it's so easy for me to take these videos and turn them into short form. I guess
Yeah,
it's just
I'll try to do it with something that doesn't require much effort, like just repurposing. I wasn't making
that's
it
right.
anything special for TikTok. I was just taking the YouTube ones and throwing them there.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so interesting. But thanks for that question, Brooke. Let's see if anyone else had a question. Hey, Jenna Lee, good to see you. Jessica from South Africa. Someone in Brooks in Kansas. Do you use the little red book app, Xiaohongshu? Are you?
I
I don't think you
downloaded
have.
it and I made 2 posts.
Okay, there you go.
And
You
that
started.
was part of the whole like, okay, after a month of trying this out and figuring everything out, then I might start either going the referral route and maybe
Yeah.
creating content specifically for Xiaohongshu.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah,
Cool.
I do have it, and I got a couple likes on one, I think one like on the other, and you know, it,
Yeah.
it's on my phone.
Yeah. It's there, and like
It's there.
if you need
I
to,
can
you can.
jump back into it anytime.
That's right. That's right. Is it necessary to have a social media platform for attracting students to, or just business in general? Well, I
Is
would
that for me?
say me. I mean, I would
No, you
say
take it.
it's not necessary if you are starting with a little bit of a base. So, you can grow really quickly with referrals. And so I tell people, no, you don't need to, you don't need to have tons of followers. You don't need to have tons of videos out there. But is it a great way to reach a market? Absolutely, because we're all on social media. So, I think, and what I would say, Jesse, is to start with maybe one that is your favorite, or if you feel sort of is easier to use for you and you feel comfortable on, whether it's Instagram. I love video on YouTube, but you can create video on any social media now. So start with one and get really good at it. Don't feel like you need to do it all at once. And if you're just kind of a Facebook user, you can certainly, depending on what kind of students you're targeting, you can use Facebook groups and things like that. But I certainly don't have a social media following for students. I do for teachers, but not for students. And I have a successful teaching business, and I never use social media for 5 minutes to try to find a student. So it's, do you need it? No. Do people have it and are successful with it? Yes. It just depends. So, short answer to a probably more complicated question there. But Cool. So Todd, thank you so much. I wanted to end with, like, how are you doing right now with your teaching business, and what are your struggles? What are your goals? What's coming up for the future? That kind of stuff. It's a
Well,
loaded
yeah,
question,
the
but
the,
right
the
about.
goals are just to fill up my schedule a little bit with these little holes here and there, and
Okay.
just keep that going, and have maybe a couple students on deck who are ready to take a spot if one opens, and keep that going, and
Yeah.
continue you know focusing on the high school, and spending a couple hours a night with my community of scholars on
Yes.
over Zoom.
There you go. Fantastic. And if you want to see what Todd's YouTube channel looks like, if you were thinking of doing something similar to target students, then I've linked it in the description of our live here. So down below on Facebook or YouTube, you can find that. And anything else, Todd? Did we cover everything? This was a great
I'm
chat.
I'm pretty sure we covered everything. Unless a question pops up, I'm pretty
We
sure
do have a
of.
question. Jessica got
Okay.
in just in time. Regarding payment options, when trying to receive payment from China and other parts of the world, living in South Africa, right? I cannot use Stripe or Wise. Do you have any other options, perhaps, or know of someone using one? Yes, there is a service, and I'm trying to think of the lady's name is Brandy Hodge, and it's called Ni Hao Pay, I think. So I'll put that in the Ni Hao Pay. Um, you can shoot me an email, Jessica, if you're, yeah, and I'll get you her contact. But it's called, yeah, there we go. Katie's put it in there as well. So that is one possibility. There's a little bit of a training learning curve in that, but it's possible, and she's helping teachers to do that. And I'm pretty positive that South Africans are included. I know it's tricky for them, but you were able to get Stripe set up with WeChat Pay, right?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a delay, and then I just reached out to support, and just sent them basically every evidence I had that
Mhm.
I was a teacher and not a
Yeah.
scam artist, and it
Right.
all went through,
Okay.
after a simple message to customer service.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes there's a little bit of back and forth. So right. Very good. Well, we'll let you. I know it's what, an hour ahead there in Taiwan.
It's
You've
getting
got
late.
family.
Yeah, about 10:30 p.m.
Well, thank you, Todd. Again, really great to connect with you. Stay in touch, and I look forward to hearing
Thank you for
how your
having
business
me.
does in the future. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Good night, Todd. Take care. Thanks everybody for watching. If I didn't get to your question, I'm seeing a couple here. Shoot me a message, or you can always email me, and I'll get back to you. If you're interested in Launch, Todd was a student in the course, and I'm still offering it as a self-paced course. You can find more information about what's currently in the course right now as it sort of evolves and changes. But that's the link to check it out if you would like to launch your own independent teaching business with students in China and beyond. And if you need some support and a helping hand to do that, I would love to see you inside. But I want to thank you for tuning in live, and for those that are going to watch the replay, thanks again. We'll be back next Monday with another live show. And yeah, wish everyone a wonderful week, and all the success in your teaching business as well. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.